Good day everyone, my name is B.Tonga, best ECE3A. In this video, we are going to discuss about ECE41 Activity 8 entitled 3 Types of Antennas by yours truly. Now the antennas that we are going to discuss are, long wire antenna, the Jpole antenna, and the broadside array. You may be wondering why there is my initials at the start of these titles. Now, in this activity, we were given a list. Let me show you that list. We were given this list that we are going to use. My full name is Benlek Esparatonga. So we're going to use the initials of our name to create a presentation about the antennas that line up with our initials. Mine is our BET, so long wire antenna for B. E for Jpole antenna, and T is the broadside array. Let's get back to the video. Now, let's start with the long wire antenna. This is what a long wire antenna looks like in real life. Antennas generally have the length of lambda over 2 or lambda over 4, known as the half-wave dipole or the quarter-wave monopole, respectively. When we have an antenna whose length is greater than half-wave dipole, then such antennas are known as long wire antennas. The length of the long wire antenna is given as n multiplied by the half-wave dipole. Long wire antennas are further classified as V antennas, inverted V antennas, or rhombic antennas, etc. Let's proceed. Now, this is the construction of the long wire antenna. Long wire antennas offer simplest constructional structure. This is so because here a long straight wire is considered whose length is a multiple of the half-wave dipole. This is the length of the long straight wire right here. It is a multiple of half-wave dipole. I believe this is the feeder line which goes to the transmitter and the receiver. And of course, I believe this is the transmitter, and of course this is the load, so it is the receiver. These can be horizontally or vertically placed. The feed line is provided at the center, the end, or somewhere in between the length of the wire. The ease of construction offered by these antennas is due to the fact that a simple conducting wire is end-to-end connected between a transmitting and receiving stations. As I said earlier, this will be the transmitting and receiving station, and it's connected end-to-end by a wire, which is a multiple of the half-wave dipole. Let's proceed to the second antenna, which is the Jpole antenna. Jpole antenna, more probably known as the J antenna, is a vertical omnidirectional transmitting antenna used in the shortwave frequency bands. It was invented by Hans Begerow in 1909 for use in Zeppelin airships. By 1936, this antenna began to be used for land-based transmitters with the radiating element and the matching section mounted vertically, giving it the shape of a letter J, and was named the J antenna by 1943. As you can see, the name is self-explanatory because the antenna itself looks like the letter J, so it is named the Jpole antenna. The construction of the Jpole antenna. The antenna consists of two parallel straight metal conductors, one 3/4 of a wavelength and the other 1/4 of a wavelength, long at the operating frequency, shorted together at the bottom. Typical construction materials include metal tubing, ladder line, or twin lead. Since the matching section must act as a transmission line, the parallel conductors should be no more than 0.05 wavelength apart. Now, these are typically two metal tubings connected in between, and this connection should be no more than 0.05 wavelength apart. The longer metal tubing as said here, is 3/4 of a wavelength, and the shorter metal tubing is 1/4 of a wavelength. Let's proceed. The Jpole antenna and its variations may be fed with a balance line. A coax feed line may be used if it includes a means to suppress feed line RF currents. The feed point of the Jpole is somewhere between the closed low impedance bottom and open high impedance top of the J-stop. Between these two extremes, a match to any impedance between the low to high impedance points is available. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this will be the feed line. This is usually a coax cable. Excuse me. And last but not the least are broadside array. The broadside array is an array which gives a radiation pattern whose main beam is perpendicular to the axis of the array. In a wider sense, broadside array is a linear or planar array antenna whose direction of maximum radiation is perpendicular to the line or plane of the array. Now, this is the radiation pattern and this is the main beam. As I said earlier, the main beam is usually perfectly perpendicular to the axis of the array, which is here. Now, this is a diagram of a broadside antenna. Broadside array antenna. Since it is an array, it consists of multiple dipoles connected together, and as you can see, it is spaced equally. And this will be the feed line. Now this is an example of an array, a large planar array. It can be broadside because a broadside array is either linear or planar. This is a large planar array of a very high frequency Russian mobile air defense radar, the Nebo-M. It consists of 175 folded dipole antennas. It is a very high frequency Russian mobile air defense radar, meaning it detects any flying object that intrudes the Russian airspace and then reports it directly to the command control. Now, salient features of broadside arrays. Salient means unique features of broadside arrays. The first one is a number of dipoles of equal size are used. The elements are spaced equally. All the dipoles are fed in the same phase. The number of elements to be used depends on the beam width requirement, cost, and space available. This array is often used in overseas broadcast systems. A broadside array is often used along with a reflector antenna. The back lobe is now reflected forward and adds to the forward lobe. And lastly, it is used for low frequencies, medium frequencies, and high frequencies, and the higher band of frequencies. Now, thank you for listening to my presentation. Now, what I have given you, what I have presented is just a basic introduction to these three types of antennas. These three types of antennas, the long wire, the Jpole, and the broadside. These are just basic introduction. Now, if you want to read more about these types of antennas, I will put the references or the links down in the description box below, and you can check it out for yourself. Okay, now thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you like it and you learned something from it. Once again, this is Benedict B.Tonga, signing off, and have a good day.